Where am I? Where am I, you're asking? Well, I'm probably in the best Chinatown in the boroughs. Where's that? No, it's not downtown Manhattan anymore, and it's not Flushing. Flushing's great, but it's big, it's urban, it's gritty. Elmhurst is wonderful. We're in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Ask any foodie in the know that knows Chinese food, and they'll tell you, this is the best Chinatown in New York City. Why? Well, we'll get somebody to explain that. But how do you get there? Bang. Take the subway, take the N train, get off at 8th Avenue. It's a whole nother world here. Stay tuned. Chinatown, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. More on the way. Where are we again? 8th Avenue, Sunset Park, between 55th and 56th. Who do I tap for stuff like this? Ed Schoenfeld, one of the foremost Chinese experts when it comes to the Chinese food in the city that isn't Chinese. Eddie Schoenfeld.
And I'm a Brooklyn boy.
And he's
so
a Brooklyn.
This is my hood.
This is his hood. Sunset Park, when did this emerge as such an amazingly vibrant and great Chinatown?
Well, over the last 10 years, it's become increasingly Chinese. Sunset Park, this section of it was actually Scandinavian at one point, and then adjacent to this it became a Hispanic neighborhood. But for the last 10 years, starting at about 57th, 58th Streets, Chinatown has spread out here. And unlike Flushing Chinatown, this is a purely Chinese neighborhood, and it has fabulous shopping. Good restaurants. I think the restaurants are still better in Flushing, but fantastic shopping. Rents are cheap here, big population, it's getting bigger every day.
Any specific part of China they're coming in from? Is this, from a certain province? From a certain...
recent immigration's been from Fujian on the southeast coast, but really it's also about the population leaving the ghetto of Manhattan, moving to the suburbs of Flushing or Brooklyn, and buying a home. And let's face it, Brooklyn is an affordable place. Great place to go seafood shopping, meat shopping.
Let's start. Let's start walking. Stay with us. That away. You got to love this. These questions about zoning and C of O's. I mean, who knows? Who cares? I don't work for the building inspector, but I go outside and I've got flip-flops, wind-up toys, and in the back there's food.
Momentai. In here they have different kinds of rice noodles, bean curd, fried bean curd, but they have these what they call deep fried noodles. They're called yimin, and they're long life noodles. These are like lo mein noodles, and they're distant noodles. And we drop these in boiling water and take them out, and they're still like styrofoam, but then we braise them in richly flavored stock, and they absorb the stock, and they're very, very delicious. It's one of the few places in New York where there are outside vendors on the street. Fresh lychee season, longans, fresh longans.
These are
lychee. The red ones are best. Longan.
Yeah, longan, yeah.
This Asian pear.
Asian
pear,
very apples, grapes.
Apples, the huge grapes. Again, more beautiful vegetables. All right, we got crazy looking eels over here. I don't even know what's bubbling up in there. I'm gonna put my hand near that sucker.
Soft shell crabs, rock crabs, gooey duck clams.
What do the Chinese do with these surf clams?
I don't know, but I think they probably make a soup from them.
Razor clams out back that are just
probably from Maine, and they're probably all alive. You see the tails hanging out, and if you touch them, the tails move. We have chicken wings. Look how big these chicken wings are and legs. These are like from 7 and 8 pound chickens.
Yeah, $1.49 a pound. This is a boneless beef shin that just makes some of the most delicious. Cook that in red saucer for a braise. It's fantastic. We'll walk down here. Pork, liver, skins. Again, look at the size. That's just that one cut that has all the meat. You want killer wings? Start with those. And look at that price, $1.99 a pound. Some preserved fish down here. Spare ribs, $2.59, perfectly trimmed. Look at this beautiful pork loin. $2.79 a pound for that.
So this little stand sells what they call lo soy, or these are red cooked, food that's braised in soy sauce, but especially the odd parts. So they're selling braised duck feet, braised chicken feet, different cuts of intestine, eggs that are cooked in soy sauce. The people take this home. They eat it for dinner. They eat it as a condiment with their rice.
Right. All right, we've seen shopping. We got enough B-roll. Folks, it's time to eat. First stop, Lucky Eights. Great story. Guy that was in the pork business who decides to become a restaurateur. Talk about getting it right on the first try. Let's go in and meet him. My customers that are watching that aren't familiar with this restaurant or this neighborhood, how would you characterize the cuisine?
This is mainly Cantonese cuisine. Actually, we serve like banquet type of dishes. Even though we're a smaller type of restaurant, but we cover pretty much a wide range of food.
Now, explain the distinction, banquet-style dishes as opposed to what?
Banquet is more lavish type of food like abalone, shark fin, live fish. They're pretty expensive. Chinese call them prince mushroom.
In English, we're calling these king oyster mushrooms.
Ah, that I know.
And they're these big, long mushrooms that have almost no cap. They're almost all base.
I'll tell you, those mushrooms smell amazing. Now that's a stock. And again, your mix of sugar, salt, little starch. I guess this is kind of like a classic white sauce, like they call them, and all the flavors melding together now. Little oil, little tiny bit of oil. And then again, this mixture. Ginger, scallions, whatever that red pepper paste is. Bang. You can smell that wok. This smells great. How cool is this? Beautiful. You can't even see the sauce. Just perfect. Thank you, chef. Thank you, thank you. Next up, Pacificana. I have to tell you, this restaurant they built from the ground up. If you live in Manhattan, they've got free parking downstairs. Friends of mine in the know tell me this could be, maybe, is the best Chinese restaurant in all of New York. There's this beautiful dining room, and it's really long. The ceiling is beautiful. Those brass sconce chandeliers, the almost like wainscoting, and that beautiful work on the ceiling. Shiny tiles, very sleek. And then the focal point of this dining room on this end of it is this open kitchen. I think this is the first Chinese restaurant I've ever been that actually has an open kitchen. They can shut these glass doors, but even if you shut them, this glass is see-through. And here you've got the chefs working. And in in the blue corner, weighing in at 15 pounds. Wow. Man, I'm feeling bad for you. But it's been a good long life. Yeah, I know. You want a mess? I know. Nice to meet you. No, he's being polite. He's actually shaking hands. Nice to meet you. This is the hand we worry about. 15-pound lobster. You're going to be dinner. Don't worry. You're going to be somebody's dinner. You're at a great restaurant. That's one serious wok.
Yes, it is. Custom built in Hong Kong.
Custom built in Hong Kong, and then has oxygen in it to feed the flame.
Right, exactly.
All right, sugar snap peas in there, just hot water just to blanch them.
Right.
Maybe 15, 20 seconds, set the color, done.
Right, exactly.
In goes the meat.
Right, you're going to saute a little, the meat first.
All right, meat's done, medium rare, finished. In go the vegetables.
Right. Black pepper sauce with honey that the chef made.
In goes the meat to get the meat juices mix in, gets a little bit of a glaze on it. Beautiful plate. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's got that great little claw here and the eyes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful garnish. Talk about beautiful vegetable carving. Isn't that gorgeous? You know, we just saw this couple of great demos in these kitchens in Sunset Park. Chefs were nice enough to let us in, witness that food. Now we're going to go back to Ed Schoenfeld's house. I'm going to have Eddie do a demo. He couldn't do the demo last time for us. He's going to do a demo this time. So back to Eddie's house where he's going to show us his take with regular Western stuff, his wok, his equipment on his version of Chinese cooking, which is spot on great. Next time I see you, we'll be in Eddie's Schoenfeld's kitchen. You know, we did a piece last year with you in Chinatown, New York City, and I couldn't get you between you going somewhere, a honeymoon.
Yeah, I got married, you know.
You got married. It's a technicality. And then we had another date that moved, and then finally we had to shoot because we have to actually these shows.
I was in Mexico when you were shooting.
You were in Mexico, so I ended up going to the Viking kitchen, and it was an abomination because
You're not a Chinese guy.
I'm not a Chinese guy. But having said that, There's only a couple of you guys around that I know, this low fan, the big nose Western types. You're one of them. David Waltock at Chanterelle's another guy that somehow gets Chinese cooking. I don't know how, but he does a Chinese New Year's party every year.
Right, he's doing a Chinese restaurant now called Macau Trading.
It's going to be great. Friends and family, they used to have a party on a Sunday somewhere around Chinese New Year, and you are like this guy that's famous for just getting Chinese cooking. So we're back with you after touring Sunset Park. What do you have in mind for us? What are you making today?
Well, it's going to make two dishes.
Okay.
One is a piece of salmon, very simple dish, very simple recipe. Comes out great. Plus, we butchered the salmon in a fun way.
Describe it for me. Salmon with?
Well, it's salmon with black bean sauce.
Who doesn't like black bean sauce?
And it cooks, depending on how thick the fish is, in about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It's something you can prep ahead of time. You can prep the sauce ahead of time. It's simple. It's really delicious. And it's people are intimidated about setting up a steamer, but it's really a pretty simple thing. Actually, we're going to use my 1972 electric wok for steaming. It's a really fun tool.
Perfect.
You'll say, oh, how come I never did that, once you see how easy it is.
Well, I just might reshoot the show with me doing it and steal the whole idea, but keep going.
Then we're going to do a wok fried dish, a regular sauteed dish. And it's a hot day today. I thought we'd do something light. So I'm doing what might poetically be called dragon and phoenix, referring to dragon meaning in this case, a shellfish, a lobster, or in this case, really a shrimp, and a phoenix is a bird, and it's a saute of shrimp, and chicken and freshwater chestnuts, and it's a clear sauce, and it has a little broccoli flowerets and bright red pieces of pepper. Very pretty, light, tasty dish. Nice thing to eat it for if you're just a couple of people. You have a lot of variety in it, and
Great.
it yings and yangs really well with the salmon.
Okay. What do you want to start with?
Okay, so today we're going to do a saute of shrimp and chicken breast. It's going to be in a white sauce. I've cleaned the shrimp and taken out their veins, and I've marinated them with a little rice wine and egg white and cornstarch. And I've done the same thing with the chicken breast. There's an aesthetic to this dish. It's white, and it's going to have splotches of red and green and black on top of it. The green's going to be broccoli florets that I've trimmed really short. And they're going to be some shiitake mushrooms, which
These are really interesting shiitake. Talk about these, because there's all this different grades of shiitake.
So
this has this, like you mentioned, like a morel, this sort of crenellation across the top
right.
of these little spots.
So this is called, in Chinese, the word for mushroom is gu. And most shiitakes are called tongu, which means winter mushroom. The most expensive ones have very, very thick, meaty caps, come from Japan. They used to be 70, 80 bucks a pound. And then we started importing them from China, and the price came down to 15 bucks a pound and 10 bucks a pound. We're going to take our knife to cut these mushrooms, and rather than cutting them straight in half, we're going to hold it at an angle. We have red peppers, so we're going to have the green and the red against the white. And then we're going to have fresh water chestnuts, which are, water chestnuts grow in a rice paddy in China. And they require some real work to peel them. So you take a line off, a top off each, and then you go at right angles at one spot, and then you go around the outside. These are going to be sliced. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the fish and we're going to cut along the center bone, and we're going to cut it right in half. This is like a French chef's knife, and you're going to come in and
Taking those little bones out.
Take the bones off that are from the belly side. And we're just going to take the skin right off.
Pull out a couple of pin bones.
Right, take a couple of the pin bones out, and we're going to cut it in half, all the way through the tail part, right there. But in the center, we're going to leave it just attached on the bottom, and we're going to open it up, and we're going to have a little fish-shaped fillet. If we want, we can even make a little mouth.
Eat your heart out, Rachel Ray. I like it. All right, we butchered the salmon. This is the one with the black bean sauce. Let's get the sauce ready now. Talk to me about what.
So what we're going to do, and I've done a little of it already. There's a clove of garlic.
What's in here, Phil? I need to know what's in the mystery bin
There's
here.
Two different kinds of soy: dark soy, regular soy, a little oyster sauce, a little minced garlic, and scallion. And what we're going to want to do is take our salted black beans, and the way we deal with those is we flatten them a little, just squish them. And then we're going to mince them quite finely for this particular dish, because we want the sauce to have a certain viscosity to it. And having the the right texture of all the minced up garlic, ginger, scallion, and black beans is really where it's at. And pour them in there. And then take the garlic and ginger and liquids that I have. And I take the heel of my cleaver and I like to mash it into a paste a little bit. We want to take a little scallion. First of all, we're going to cut it really finely. And we're going to take about half of that and mix it in the sauce.
Okay.
And then when we get ready to steam the fish, we're going to lay it out on a plate. The plate's going to have a little oil on it so the fish doesn't stick. We're going to spoon this sauce, which, see how thick it is? Mm-hmm. And it's going to get diluted by the condensation of the steam. And then we're going to take these extra scallions and we're going to put them on top. That's so that when the fish steams, it has a bright green coming right out at you on top.
Eddie, they sell smaller containers of oil. I want to let you know that.
Well, we go through a lot of oil in Chinese food, so.
Tell me about this wok. How old is this wok?
This wok is about 5 years old. I like it for a few reasons. First of all, it has a flat bottom. I love a flat bottom wok for a Western stove. Also, I have 4 or 5 cups of oil here. It's going to be 300 degrees. It's dangerous. I have a flat bottom. It's stable. And actually, this oil's a little cool, but not too cool for the water chestnuts. And they don't really need to cook too much. That's all. You can put the mushrooms in. And the peppers. And they really don't need to cook very much. They just want to get a little sear on the outside.
Is there a name for that method, these two things together?
This is called passing through oil.
Okay. This
technique. The shrimp are going to mix up just for a second so they don't stick to one another. And be surprised how quickly this cooking goes. You just look to make sure that everything's kind of turned into a white or pink color.
Yeah, and they'll carry over slightly too once they're like that.
Right, they'll keep cooking. And we're going to toss them in a sauce. Exactly the same with the chicken. And the chicken, because this happens to be chicken breast, normally I'd rather use dark meat for this.
Yeah, thighs.
But because we want a white color for this dish, having white chicken works really well.
And again, egg whites, rice wine vinegar, a little bit of...
Not vinegar, just rice wine.
Okay.
And salt, a little pepper, starch. And you can put a little oil in there too. It helps give the chicken a smoother flavor. So this chicken, again, just 30 seconds. Look, it's all cooked through. And now we're going to pop in the broccoli. You can see the oil's hot enough. It's really bubbling up. And the broccoli, you can keep looking at it. After about 10 seconds, it really brightens in color.
Yeah.
And that's just the way we want it. Turn that off. And to stop the cooking real quickly, we just pour the broccoli right on top of the other food. Okay, Mike, so we've now velveted all our food.
Right, got the texture we want, right.
We've cleaned out our wok. We've put it over a high flame, as high as it'll go. And we want to get our pan really hot now. This is when we want really quick action. So we don't want to cook the food. We just want to make a quick sauce and thicken the sauce and then coat the food.
All right, what do we have mise en place for the sauce? One more time, remind me. Chopped scallions, ginger.
Garlic. A little bit. Here's the sauce, which is chicken stock, rice wine, not the cooking rice wine, the good rice wine from the wine shop, a little ginger and scallion inside, and this salt, touch of sugar, white pepper. So what we're going to do is we want to get our pan very hot, and then we want it to be well coated with oil. So we're going to take some of the oil that we cook the food in and just swirl it around, and we're going to dump it all out.
Okay. So now the pan's seasoned, we'll call that.
Now we're going to start with our garlic, ginger, and scallion. And because this is a white sauce,
no color.
We want to make sure we get no color.
Okay.
We just want it to start smelling good. So we have our sauce that we've mixed ahead of time, and we have some starch. Make sure we don't put any color there. And we're going to put a little starch right into the sauce.
Now, ahead of time.
We're going to stir that around. And as soon as it boils, it's going to tighten up and thicken. Then our food goes back.
Little sesame oil to finish it.
Right. And the sesame oil you don't want to cook with, you just want to heat it up.
That's beautiful, Eddie.
Yeah, it's very pretty color.
You know me. Sorry, I gotta eat everything.
go,
You know, because people are gonna think they just see him eating. He's not eating. That's gotta be something wrong.
Tasty, light.
No, tasty, clean, light. I mean, this isn't like goopy, you know, starchy. Just enough sauce as a glaze. Beautiful dish, simple.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the salmon.
So, Mike, some of your viewers may have an old electric wok.
Faberware circa 1971.
You know, circa an old girlfriend. Got rid of me and her wok at the same time. Now I have a pitcher of water here. I started with hot water just so that things would move more quickly. And I have a 12-inch steamer here.
And this is just your classic basket.
Regular basket like you'd get some soup dumplings in.
Right.
And it just fits right on top of your wok. To set this up, we just take a little vegetable oil and lightly rub our plate with it.
So the protein doesn't stick.
Exactly.
Period.
Now we take our fish, we take our cut side, we put it down, and we make our little fishes, you know, our fillets well, we'll make them look like fish-shaped fillets.
Okay, cute.
Kind of fun. Put them in opposite directions. And then take this sauce, and we've tried to keep this kind of viscous. And then take a little more scallion, and just for color, put it over the sauce so that when this is done steaming, it'll have a vibrant bright green color.
Eddie, I'm looking. I see a lot of steam coming out the side here.
That means it's ready. One thing is, steam is hotter than boiling water. It's white steam. It makes a nasty burn.
Nasty.
So when you hold this, make sure you have something to protect yourself. Here's the steam pouring out. The plate goes in. Now I want you to about 3 minutes and 15 or 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll let you know.
You know, Chinese don't like to eat raw food. Cold appetizers, very traditional part of the cuisine, all cooked, not raw. So no raw fish, no raw oysters, no raw vegetables.
Interesting.
So raw food for them is a very modern point of view. My instincts tell me to give it a few seconds longer.
Okay.
And then uncover it quickly.
Oh, beautiful.
And then we can...
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, I think that's really good done. Okay, so here's the fish. It's still steaming. While it's just getting to the point where you can eat it. And you take a bite.
I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go where we wanted it to go, which is this fatty section.
Yeah, and take a little of the topping.
Give me some...
Okay.
Oh, look at that, like custard. I love fish when it's cooked like this. You see, it's just trembling. The protein's just set. Of course, this is the fattiest part down by the belly.
Good, right?
Actually, better than good. That's really spectacular. I love this sauce, man. You're going to have to give me this recipe. Like, write it down. Don't just wing it. You're going to have to, like, email me this recipe.
No problem.
This is really spectacular. And how simple is that?
Really simple. And other kinds of fish cook this way, too. But really fatty fish are excellent like this. Black cod, Patagonian toothfish.
I could see that. I could see that. Black cod like this, but Patagonian toothfish, I just worry about being overfished. But salmon, this is like perfect for salmon. And this is, you don't have to use your fancy, organic, blah, blah. This is like regular, farm-raised, whatever.
Chinatown salmon.
Chinatown salmon, $6.99 a pound, baby. That tastes delicious. I don't care what you say.
Yep.
That's a great dish.
Yeah.
Just with a steaming pile of white rice, I'm in heaven with this.
Yeah, it's good food.
Yeah, a nice cold beer.
3 minutes. What could be easier?
Eddie Schoenfeld, thanks for cooking on the back end of this one. I missed you last time, but you got married. That trumps my show.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks
it was fun.
so much taking
Hope
us
you
through
enjoyed everything.
Brooklyn Sunset Park. What everyone says now.
Pretty exciting neighborhood, don't you think?
What everybody seems to say now is the best Chinatown in the boroughs.
Well, definitely the best shopping. I don't know about the best restaurants, but really great shopping.
Okay.
And
we'll get you.
You can make good food from the. This is Sunset Park Chinatown product.
If we get you next season for the best Chinatown eating, where are you going to take me?
I guess we'll have to go to Flushing. That's where we haven't been. A lot of good restaurants there.
Next stop. Thanks again, Eddie
Sounds
Schoenfeld, cooking it up for us. See you next week.